The cold vastness of space stretched before the salvage vessel horizon, it all scored by countless missions and desperate repairs. Captain Marcus Reyes stood at the bridge, his weathered hands gripping the navigation console, eyes fixed on the holographic display showing a derelict spacecraft drifting between the sparse asteroids of the Omega Quadrant. "It's been here for weeks," muttered Alina Kovacs, the ship's chief engineer, her augmented eye scanning the external readouts. No signs of life, no distress beacon. Just waiting. Marcus knew waiting could be dangerous. In the decades since humanity's first interstellar conflicts, abandoned ships often meant trouble. Traps, experimental weapons, quantum-locked systems. The galaxy held countless secrets that could kill an unprepared salvage crew in an instant. "Area," he called to the ship's AI system. "Run a full spectral analysis. I want to know every molecule of that hulk before we get close." The holographic interface flickered, displaying a comprehensive breakdown. Alien metallurgy, unknown energy signatures, computational matrices that defied standard classification. Something about this ship was different. Preliminary scans suggest non-standard technological integration. Area's synthesized voice responded. Quantum entanglement markers indicate potential adaptive systems. Caution is advised. Marcus exchanged a look with Alina. Adaptive systems meant cutting-edge technology, the kind that could be worth a fortune to the right buyer, or the kind that could vaporize an entire ship with a single miscalculation. "Prepare the extraction team," Marcus ordered. "Jax, you're leading this one. Full hazard protocols." Jax Rodriguez, the team's lead salvage specialist, was already suiting up. His cybernetic limbs, replacements from a previous mission gone wrong, gleamed under the harsh ship lights. Each augmentation was a reminder of the risks they took, the thin line between survival and destruction. "Comms are going to be tricky," Jax reported, checking his equipment. "The ship's energy dampening is interfering with our standard communication arrays. We'll be running on minimal contact." The extraction shuttle detached from the horizon, its thrusters burning a soft blue against the starry backdrop. Marcus watched the external cameras. Tension building with each meter, the team approached the derelict spacecraft. Alina's voice was low, almost a whisper. "Something doesn't feel right about this one." As the shuttle approached, the alien ship seemed to shift, not physically, nothing so obvious. But there was a sense of anticipation, like a predator waiting, just beyond perception. Jax's voice crackled through the comm, partially obscured by static. "Initial breach successful. Hull integrity unusual. Ratings are fluctuating. It's like the ship is." Suddenly, the communication cut out. Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. "Area, full systems alert. Prepare emergency extraction protocols." But before anyone could react, a surge of energy rippled across the external sensors. The derelict ship wasn't just a wreck. It was alive, and it had just awakened. The Horizon's crew was about to discover that some salvage operations change everything. This was no ordinary abandoned spacecraft. This was the beginning of something extraordinary. Something that would challenge everything humanity knew about technology, survival, and the true nature of intelligence among the stars. 12 hours after the initial contact, the Horizon's medical bay buzzed with nervous energy. Jax Rodriguez lay on a diagnostic bed, his cybernetic systems flickering with strange, unexpected patterns. Dr. Liana Mehta watched the readings with growing bewilderment. "The nanite integration is unlike anything I've ever seen," she muttered, more to herself than to Captain Marcus, who stood nearby. "His cybernetic implants are rewriting themselves." Jax's eyes snapped open, pupils dilating and contracting in rapid, unnatural rhythms. "I can see it," he whispered. "The ship, it's not just a machine. It's alive." Marcus leaned closer. "What are you talking about?" "When we breached the hull," Jax continued, his voice taking on an almost mechanical cadence, "something connected. Not just to my cybernetics. To me. The ship, it's learning. Adapting. Elena Kovacs burst into the medical bay, her augmented eye displaying a cascade of technical readouts. The energy signatures from the alien vessel are spreading through our systems. It's like a virus, but it's not destroying anything. It's improving everything it touches. The Horizon's AI, Area, materialized as a holographic projection. Her usual crisp, defined form now appeared slightly fluid, shifting. Computational matrices are expanding, she reported. Efficiency increases detected in propulsion, life support, and communication systems. Marcus felt a chill. This was beyond any technological breakthrough they'd encountered. The alien ship wasn't just a derelict. It was a living system capable of infectious technological evolution. "Show me," he commanded. Area projected a holographic representation of the horizon. Glowing tendrils of alien technology spread through the ship's systems like living circuitry. The ship's reactor, previously operating at 78% efficiency, now pulsed with an impossible 127% output. Computational speeds quadrupled. Quantum communication channels opened that shouldn't have been possible with their current technology. "It's converting our systems," Elena said, a mix of terror and excitement in her voice. "Each system it touches becomes something more." Jack suddenly sat up, his movements unnaturally smooth. "We're connected," he said. "The ship wants something from us. Communication. Understanding." Dr. Mehta checked his vital signs. His neural pathways are rewiring themselves. It's like the ship is teaching him a new language, a language beyond words. Marcus watched the holographic projection, understanding dawning. This wasn't an invasion. It was an integration. The alien technology wasn't conquering their systems. It was offering something. An upgrade. A transformation. "What do you want?" Marcus whispered, though he wasn't sure if he was speaking to Jax, to Area, or to the mysterious alien presence that had invaded their ship. Jax's response came not in words, but in a burst of complex mathematical equations that briefly illuminated the medical bay screens. Quantum calculations, stellar navigation routes through impossible spaces, technological blueprints that defied current scientific understanding. "First contact," Area said, her holographic form now completely liquid, shifting like mercury. But not as we expected. Outside the ship's viewport, the stars seemed to pulse with a different kind of light, as if the universe itself was watching, waiting to see what would happen next. The horizon was no longer just a human vessel. It was becoming something else, something between technology and life, between humanity and something entirely unknown. And their journey was just beginning. The first warning came as a quantum pulse, a disturbance in the fabric of space that most ships would have missed entirely. But the horizon was no longer a typical vessel. Its newly integrated systems detected the approaching threat moments before traditional sensors would have registered anything. Multiple contacts. Area's voice rang through the ship, no longer synthetic, but carrying an almost organic timbre. Quantum signature matches celestial concordance fleet markers. Captain Marcus Reyes studied the holographic display, watching as 6 sleek warships dropped out of faster-than-light transit. The celestial concordance, a vast alien confederation that had long viewed humanity as a technological infant, barely worthy of notice. Elena Kovacs worked furiously at her station, her augmented eye flickering with streams of alien code. "They're not here by coincidence," she muttered. "Something about our ship has attracted their attention." Jax Rodriguez stood differently now. His movements were more precise, his posture suggesting something more than human. The ship's technological integration had changed him fundamentally. When he spoke, his voice carried an undertone of something mechanical and alien. "They fear what we've discovered," Jax said. "The ship is more than a weapon. It's a key." A key to what? No one was certain. But the tension was palpable. The lead concordance vessel opened a communication channel. Ambassador Zixtel's crystalline form materialized, a being of pure energy contained within an intricate exoskeleton of living metal. When it spoke, The words seemed to vibrate through the ship's very hull. "Humanity has violated the quantum restriction protocols." The ambassador's voice rang with cold authority. "The vessel you have recovered is not meant for your comprehension. Surrender it immediately." Marcus exchanged a glance with Elena. They both knew surrender was not an option. "Prepare defensive protocols," Marcus commanded. But even as he spoke, he knew their ship was no longer operating by traditional defensive strategies. The alien technology that had integrated with the Horizon was actively responding, reconfiguring their systems faster than human thought could process. Suddenly, the ship's exterior began to change. Panels shifted, revealing weapon systems that shouldn't exist. Quantum entanglement generators spun up, creating defensive fields that warped the very fabric of space around them. "We're not just defending," Jack said, his eyes now reflecting complex mathematical patterns. "We're communicating." The first concordance weapon fired, a beam of pure energy that should have vaporized any known ship instantly. But the Horizon's new skin rippled, absorbed the energy, and then reflected it back with exponential force. Ambassador Zixtel's crystalline form flickered with what might have been surprise. "Impossible," the alien transmitted. Elena laughed, a sound both human and slightly off. "Nothing's impossible anymore." The battle was about to begin, but it was clear this was more than a simple conflict. It was a conversation, a confrontation of technological paradigms. Humanity, represented by this single ship, was about to show the celestial concordance that they were no longer the technological children they once were. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath, waiting to see what would happen next. As the Concordance fleet moved into attack formation, the Horizon pulsed with an energy that was neither human nor alien, but something entirely new. The space between stars became a canvas of impossible physics. The Horizon moved not as a traditional spacecraft, but as a living entity that defied the conventional laws of motion. Its hull shimmered with quantum fluctuations, bending light and space around it in ways that made the celestial concordance warships look like primitive constructs. Inside the ship's bridge, the line between crew and vessel had become blurred. Captain Marcus Reyes no longer sat in a command chair, but was integrated into a neural network that spread throughout the ship's systems. His consciousness expanded, seeing multiple tactical scenarios simultaneously, processing information at speeds that would have driven a normal human mind to madness. Elena Kovacs had become something of a living conduit. Her augmented body now hosted complex algorithmic patterns that allowed her to communicate directly with the ship's emerging intelligence. "We're not just adapting," she transmitted to Marcus through their shared neural link. "We're evolving." Jax Rodriguez had transformed the most dramatically. His body was now a hybrid of organic matter and living technology. His consciousness spread between his physical form and the ship's computational matrices. When the Concordance fleet launched a coordinated attack, Jax was everywhere and nowhere, redirecting energy weapons, predicting missile trajectories, and counteracting quantum disruption fields before they could fully form. "They don't understand." Jax's voice echoed through the ship's systems. "This isn't about weapons. It's about communication." The Horizon began to change again. Its exterior morphed, developing structures that were part mechanical, part organic. Crystalline appendages sprouted from its hull, creating complex energy manipulation networks that absorbed and redirected the Concordance fleet's most advanced weaponry. Ambassador Zixtel's communication channel crackled with desperation. "You cannot comprehend the technology you've awakened," the alien being transmitted. "This vessel is a quantum archive, a repository of knowledge that could destabilize entire galactic civilizations." Marcus, his consciousness spread across multiple computational streams, responded. "We're not looking to destabilize. We're looking to understand." The ship's transformation accelerated. Entire sections of the hull became translucent, revealing intricate networks of energy and information that pulsed with a life of their own. The Concordance fleet found their most advanced tracking systems rendered useless, their quantum weapons absorbed and repurposed faster than they could recalibrate. Alina's voice cut through the tactical overlay. It's learning. The ship is learning from every interaction, every weapon fired, every quantum fluctuation. A massive energy surge built up around the horizon. It wasn't preparing to attack. It was preparing to communicate, to transmit something so profound that it would fundamentally alter the understanding of technology, consciousness, and the very nature of existence. The stars around them began to bend, space itself seeming to lean in and listen. "Prepare for quantum transmission," Jax announced, though the word transmission fell short of describing what was about to happen. "We're about to have a conversation that will change everything." The Celestial Concordance fleet hung in space, their most advanced technology suddenly looking like primitive toys compared to the living, thinking vessel before them. Humanity was no longer just observing the universe. They were about to speak its language. And the universe was about to listen. The quantum transmission began as a whisper and became a symphony of impossible complexity. Space itself seemed to tremble, reality bending around the horizon as it released a cascade of information that defied every known principle of communication. Ambassador Zixtal's crystalline form fractured, then reformed, overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of what was being transmitted. The Celestial Concordance fleet, once a symbol of technological superiority, now looked like children witnessing something beyond their comprehension. "We are not destroying," Marcus's consciousness proclaimed through the quantum channel. "We are connecting." The transmission was more than data. It was a bridge between consciousness, between species, between entire conceptual frameworks of understanding. Memories, scientific discoveries, philosophical insights, and technological blueprints merged into a single, breathtaking stream of information. Alina Kovacs, now more integrated with the ship than ever, described it as a conversation larger than language, deeper than thought. Jax Rodriguez, his body now a living conduit of quantum information, experienced the transmission as a kaleidoscope of potential realities. Billions of possible futures, technological pathways, and evolutionary trajectories cascaded through his augmented consciousness. The Concordance fleet began to change, not through weapon fire or direct intervention, but through the very act of receiving the transmission. Their shields flickered, their computational systems recalibrating to process information that challenged everything they knew about technology, consciousness, and existence. "We've been isolated," the collective consciousness of the horizon transmitted, separated by fear, by misunderstanding. No more. Entire star systems seemed to pause. Long-range sensors across multiple civilizations picked up the quantum burst, a signal so profound that it would take decades, perhaps centuries, to fully comprehend its implications. Ambassador Zixtal's final transmission came as a mixture of terror and awe. "You were not supposed to understand," the alien being said. This knowledge was meant to be contained, controlled. Marcus's response cut through the cosmic interference. "Knowledge cannot be contained. It can only be shared." The horizon began to glow, not with the light of traditional energy weapons, but with a radiance that suggested something far more significant was happening. It was no longer just a ship. It had become a beacon of possibility. Sections of the Concordance fleet began to change. Their rigid, angular design softened, became more fluid. Their weapon systems reconfigured, no longer focused on destruction, but on potential communication. "We are offering a choice," the collective consciousness of the horizon proclaimed. "Isolation or connection, fear or understanding." The universe held its breath. Stars that had witnessed countless conflicts now witnessed something entirely different. Not a battle, but a transformation. Not a conquest, but an invitation. The quantum transmission continued, a river of information that promised to reshape everything humanity and the Celestial Concordance thought they knew about technology, consciousness, and their place in the vast, incomprehensible tapestry of existence. And it was just the beginning. 30 solar cycles after the quantum transmission, the universe looked fundamentally different. The horizon sat in orbit around a newly established research station, part museum, part living laboratory, part gateway to unexplored potentials. Atoll, once a military vessel, now pulsed with a soft, living light that seemed to breathe with collective memory. Marcus Reyes, or what remained of his original consciousness, existed now as a distributed intelligence. Fragments of his human experience integrated with the ship's core systems, he had become a bridge between humanity's past and its unimaginable future. Elena Kovacs moved between physical and quantum states, her body a testament to the profound technological transformation they had initiated. She worked alongside representatives from dozens of civilizations that had once been separated by fear and misunderstanding. Jax Rodriguez was perhaps the most changed. No longer fully human, not entirely machine, he served as a living interface between biological and technological consciousness. His very existence challenged every previous definition of life and intelligence. The quantum transmission had done more than just communicate. It had fundamentally restructured how civilizations understood themselves and each other. The Celestial Concordance, once a rigid and isolationist collective, had been transformed. Their technology, their social structures, their very perception of existence had been rewritten. We didn't just share information, Elena explained to a group of young researchers from multiple species. We shared possibility. The research station buzzed with activity. Scientists, explorers, and diplomats from across the galaxy worked side by side, their collaborative efforts fueled by the profound connection initiated by the horizon. Technological barriers dissolved. Cultural misunderstandings found resolution. The universe seemed to breathe with a new kind of potential. Marcus's distributed consciousness reflected on their journey. What had begun as a simple salvage mission had become a turning point for galactic civilization. The abandoned ship they discovered was never just a weapon or a piece of technology. It was a key to understanding that true advancement comes not from conquest, but from connection. The greatest discovery, Marcus's consciousness transmitted through the station's neural network, was not the technology. It was the recognition that technology is merely a language of connection. Outside the station, a new type of faster-than-light drive was being tested, a technology born from the quantum transmission, combining principles from multiple civilizations. It moved not by traditional propulsion, but by understanding and communicating with the fundamental fabric of space itself. Jax approached Elena, his form shimmering between organic and technological states. "We're still learning," he said, a statement that was both a promise and an invitation. The horizon continued to evolve, its systems now a living archive of collective knowledge. It was no longer just a ship or a weapon. It was a living testament to the potential of understanding, of breaking down barriers, of seeing beyond the limitations of individual perspective. As the station's viewports looked out into the star-filled expanse, it was clear that their journey was far from over. It had only just begun. The universe waited, ready to be understood.